You've got guns, you've got kids, you've got concerns. Check out my video and make sure you subscribe and leave a comment.
Well, greetings YouTube, LMS Tactical here. And I was hesitating to start this video because I just saw a beautiful bald eagle and my cell phone battery is running low. So we talk about being prepared, and today I'm not. Oh shit, there it is. Hang on a second. Oh my gosh, I'm in the middle of a heavy, I don't know if you guys are gonna be able to see that. No, you can't see it, it's through the trees. Oh, there he goes. Ah, sorry about that. Okay, I love bald eagles, man. Every time I see one, I go crazy. Anyways, today's video is going to be about guns and children. And, you know, that's been on the news. I don't know, if you watch Fox, you'll notice that's been on the news quite a bit. You know, and it got me thinking. I started, well, actually, I guess for this whole last week, they did a segment, Fox did, on guns and kids. And one of the things they did was they left, you know, a gun in a room with some kids and said, we'll be right back. And then they had cameras there and they videotaped the response. And that reminded me of something that I did that I want to share with you. If you're a gun owner or you're planning on being a gun owner, maybe you want to be a gun owner, but you got kids and you don't want to put them in any unnecessary danger. Now, a little bit of background. I've got 7 total kids, and it's not what you think. It's not that we didn't have a TV and all we could do is create kids. I have 3 kids from my first marriage, and they're all grown. Well, 2 of them are identical twin boys and a daughter. And then I've got 2 stepchildren from this marriage, and then we adopted my 2 nephews. And so the youngest one is like 17 now, so I don't have little ones anymore. But I have had firearms as an integral part of my life since I was 18 in the military. And I got out right after that and went into the police department. And then, not that it's related to the career choice, but I ended up becoming, you know, a pretty decent gun collector. I mean, I've got quite a few weapons. Some of them are antique-ish, and, you know, I don't fire them. But enough of that. I've got, that's suffice to say, I carry a weapon every day. I have for over almost, I guess, hitting, well, about 30, 35, 36 years. There are guns in my life, and because they're in my life, they're in my family's lives as well. And in a cloud of gnats. There's Nat King Cole right there. God, that was a bad joke. I'm going to edit that out. I always say it, but you know what? You know I won't. Oh my God, I'm right in the middle of it. Why do they follow me? Get away from me. I think I inhaled them. So here's what we did. We being me. And, you know, and like most parents, we just wing it. I made it up, you know, and it worked. So I'm sharing it with you. I realized that all kids are, and not just kids, but we're talking about children, all kids are mesmerized by firearms. I mean, you know, people that are not around them or used to them are intrigued with them. I'm intrigued with them. You know, I mean, some people would classify me as a gun nut because I've got more than, you know, double digits. I don't think I'm a gun nut, but like I also like watches and cameras. You know, I'm intrigued with things that are very finely crafted and blah, blah, blah. Children they've got not only that natural curiosity of kids, but they've also got movies that, you know, as much as the Hollywood elite likes to pretend that they're anti-gun, there's guns in almost every movie. That's, you know, it's a blockbuster. Everybody's, you know, blowing everybody away. Realizing this way back in the, you know, my early 80s, talking like 86, I thought, you know, my biggest fear would be, I trusted my own safety with guns, but I didn't trust the parents of my children's friends. You know, people are people and they're fallible. So the biggest fear was that my children would be spending the night at somebody's house, and that somebody would be like, hey, let me show you my dad's gun. And my kids would be like, ooh, that's interesting. And here they'd start handling it. Next thing you know, you got a death or an injury. So it just dawned on me, why not take the curiosity factor out right from the beginning? And so when my kids were very, very young, I took them and sat them down. I had a real long talk about guns and gun safety. What can a gun do? And when we're talking really young, oh, they can hurt you, Daddy. No, they can destroy you. And now I know people are going to think this is extreme, but I am an extreme guy.
Hey, thanks for sticking with the video and watching. If you haven't subscribed by now, go ahead and click that subscribe button and stick with me. I make lots of videos, and be sure and check out the ones I've already got. There's quite a bit to choose from, all kinds of topics. Stay safe.
And you can modify this if you decide to go with my plan or any aspect of it. I showed them pictures of grotesque and grievous injuries with now I didn't show them brains hanging off the ceiling. I did later when they were old enough to handle it. But I made sure that at that sit down that they knew that it wasn't the movies, and the whole discussion revolved around movie deaths versus real life death, and the sadness and the funerals and the never seeing daddy again or never seeing Johnny again because his little brother killed him or whatever. So the key on that thing is the discussion that you have with them. And then what I incorporated into that discussion was removing my weapon, unloading it. I did not want them to see at that age how to load and unload a weapon, but I made sure it was unloaded. I showed them that it was unloaded, and then I let them handle it. And of course, one of the most poignant facts that I made in that discussion regarding the handling of guns was that that barrel never points at anything that's alive or could possibly be alive. And so from a very young age, they were taught to keep the weapon pointed downrange, whatever downrange happened to be, as long as it wasn't at their brother or themselves or anyone else. And they could handle it, and I talked to them about the trigger, not pulling the trigger. You don't pull the trigger on a gun unless you're trying to kill somebody. And what I ended up doing was, about once a week in the beginning there, I would sit them down and show them a different gun.
Ooh, that's really a big one, Daddy. Wow, that's huge. I can barely carry this.
Yeah, well, check it out, man. What'd I tell you about the muzzle? I would teach them the terminology. Muzzle, trigger, this, that, and the other thing. I did this for a while, and then I'd stretch it out a little bit. By and by, they became just what I hoped for. They became pretty much bored shitless with the whole gun thing. I would say to them, I'd approach them sometimes and say, "Yeah, you guys, you want to go check out some of Daddy's guns?" And to my happiness, they got to the point where they'd be like,
"Oh, come on, Daddy, that's boring. We don't want to do that."
"Are you sure? I'll let you hold them. I'll let you hold one that you haven't held." "No, Dad, let's play video games," or whatever it was they were doing. Back in those days, I think it was Pong. But you get the point. It became boring for them. They weren't interested at all. And that was a good feeling as a parent and a gun owner. And the whole thing culminated with a series of tests, and I did this periodically in their lives when they were young. I would leave an unloaded weapon on my bed, and I would say, "Hey, Anthony, go in the bedroom there and get Daddy's Pepsi that he left by the nightstand." And you would see the little kid come out, and he'd have a really serious look on his face.
"Daddy."
Be like, "What?"
I just don't know. I can't believe you did it.
What, Anthony?"
"You left your pow-pow on the bed."
And I would reward them with great praise and how they did the right thing. And even guys like me could make mistakes. But they had been very thoroughly instructed that if they ever see a weapon, not to touch it because they don't know if it's loaded and they have to assume it is, that all weapons are loaded even when they're not loaded, kind of thing. And that they were to come and get me in the house, or if they were at somebody else's house, not touch it, and go to the nearest parent or adult. Now that sustained safety and harmony in my children's lives. They've got all their limbs, and I'm not saying that I have all the answers, but I want you to consider that prospect of how to do the gun safety thing with your kids, and feel free to tweak it and add to it and make it your own. But remember, none of it is worth anything unless the components are combined, meaning discussion, educating them about the reality versus the fantasy of the movies in Hollywood. Talk about loss, talk about grieving, talk about death and the permanence of death, and that there is no second chance. You don't get to come back. Drive that home, and then follow it up with a series of tests and make sure that you reward them in a way that's going to last. Not necessarily with an ice cream cone or something, but you praise them. The kids want to be praised, and that's pretty much it. What are you guys' thoughts? I hope you guys are having a killer Monday, so to speak. Pardon the pun there. And yeah, LMS Tactical.